The bombastic NBA announcement. Can you imagine what it feels like to achieve something never seen before in the NBA? Well, Jayson Tatum, the star of the Boston Celtics, has just rewritten the history books with a jaw-dropping performance. After the Celtics' impressive run in the 2023-24 finals, the number 0 jersey continues to dominate the courts and break records. The NBA has confirmed what many had already suspected. Jayson Tatum is the Eastern Conference Player of the Month. This is the third consecutive year that the Celtics superstar has received this award early in the season, something nobody in the history of the league has ever done before. Between October and November, Tatum led the Boston Celtics to a dominant performance, with a 16-3 record. His averages? Simply ridiculous. 28.7 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 5.8 assists per game. Meanwhile, out west, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder won the same award for his conference. A complete and innovative leader. Tatum not only leads the Celtics in points, he dominates 4 of the team's major stats: points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Furthermore, he's playing the best basketball of his career, setting a career high in assists per game. And it gets better. Tatum is currently the 6th highest scorer in the NBA, right behind Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks. For someone who was the 3rd overall pick in the 2017 draft, Tatum's meteoric rise shows exactly why he's considered one of the best players of his generation. Even facing adversity, such as the absence of Jaylen Brown and Derek White in some games, the Celtics continue to showcase their strength. After a 7-game win streak, the team suffered a close loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers, but they're already gearing up to bounce back. In the coming days, Boston faces the Pistons, twice, the Bucks, and the Grizzlies. A challenging stretch, but perfect for Tatum to prove once again that he is the true leader of this historic franchise. How far can Tatum go? What more can we expect from Jayson Tatum this season? Will he lead the Celtics back to the finals? Or better yet, will he finally capture the coveted MVP title? Leave your opinion in the comments. Is Tatum already the greatest name of the Celtics in this generation? And what are your expectations for the rest of the season? The stage is set, and Jayson Tatum's show is just getting started. What does the future hold for the Celtics icon? Marcus Smart, the eternal warrior of the Celtics, is facing a challenging phase in his journey with the Memphis Grizzlies. Since his move to the Western Conference team, the player has struggled with injuries and performance inconsistencies. But could this be just a turbulent chapter before a potential new beginning? After being traded in a deal that brought Kristaps Porzingis to the Boston Celtics, Smart has played only 32 games for the Grizzlies. Despite his bright past as Defensive Player of the Year, his new journey hasn't been as expected. According to Michael Scotto from Hoops Hype, some NBA executives believe Smart could regain his former level with a change of environment. Although Marcus Smart has dealt with injuries and inconsistencies in Memphis, many believe he can return to his Celtics level in a new setting, Scotto revealed. At 30, Smart is still one of the best perimeter defenders in the league and has extensive playoff experience. There will be no shortage of suitors, especially among teams looking to make a final push for a championship. A return to the Celtics? Despite the immense love from the fanbase and his history in Boston, a return to the TD Garden seems unlikely. The Boston Celtics are bound by strict salary cap rules, which limit trade possibilities. Moreover, the current trio of guards for the Celtics, Drew Holiday, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard, has been proving why they are considered one of the best in the NBA. White and Holiday form the best two-way guard duo in the league. With the chemistry flowing, altering this rotation would be risky. Brad Stevens, the Celtics' president of operations, has prioritized roster continuity. Thus, any future moves are expected to be focused on strengthening the bench rather than bringing back a player who would require drastic changes. Smart with the Lakers? If Boston is out of the race for Smart, one potential destination could make any Celtics fan uneasy: the Los Angeles Lakers. Jake Fisher from Bleacher Report speculated that LeBron James' team could be an ideal destination for Smart. With his defensive impact on the perimeter, he could fit perfectly into the salary space of D'Angelo Russell. Joe Mazzulla's genius strategy that's transforming the Celtics. Joe Mazzulla, the young head coach of the Boston Celtics, has been making waves with his bold approach. He doesn't inform bench players whether they'll play or not. This strategy, which might seem harsh at first, reveals a powerful philosophy centered around preparation, commitment, and a winning mentality. Why does Mazzulla keep the mystery? In the press conference following the Celtics' 108-89 victory over the Miami Heat, Mazzulla explained the reason behind this surprising tactic. If you give a player the idea that they will or won't play, it changes the way they prepare every day, the coach explained. I want my players to step into the arena every day with the mentality that their process is crucial to winning. Mazzulla believes that the unpredictability of the season demands everyone be ready for any opportunity. If you're only ready because you know you'll play, that doesn't help your process, he added. Mazzulla's philosophy is not just theory, it has already produced impressive results. Even without key players like Jrue Holiday, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White in the recent games against the Heat and Cavaliers, the team remained competitive, nearly winning both games. A notable example was Drew Peterson's performance, a young forward who, before these games, had played only about 30 minutes in the NBA. Under Mazzulla's leadership, Peterson responded with over 24 minutes on the court in each game, proving he was ready for the challenge. With a current record of 17-4 and sitting second in the Eastern Conference, the Celtics are stronger than ever. The team has won 8 of the last 9 games, and Mazzulla seems to be guiding them toward a potential title defense, something that hasn't happened since the Warriors in 2017 and 2018. Next challenge: Detroit Pistons. Without wasting time dwelling on the future, Mazzulla and the Celtics are focusing on their next matchup, a clash against the Detroit Pistons this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Brasilia time, at the TD Garden. In the last encounter between the teams, the Celtics won 124-118, and expectations for an even more dominant victory are high. Joe Mazzulla is not just a coach, he's a strategist who challenges his players to embrace uncertainty and always be ready to shine. The surprise called Drew Peterson, when an unknown name becomes essential. Drew Peterson, a nearly anonymous player in the NBA world, made headlines after impressive minutes in games against the Cleveland Cavaliers and Miami Heat. After spending almost a year in the Celtics G-League system, Peterson finally got his chance, without warning, as is customary under Joe Mazzulla's leadership. The Celtics coach explained his philosophy of not informing players whether they will be used on the court. This creates an atmosphere of constant preparation, where every athlete must be ready to contribute at any moment. And when Peterson was called, he was more than ready. Peterson was recruited by the Celtics from the Sioux Falls Skyforce, the Miami Heat's G-League affiliate. Mazzulla revealed that the interest in Peterson began during Summer League, when he showed promising performance against Boston's own team. This approach is similar to how the Celtics gave space to Sam Hauser, another talent who found his place after slipping under Miami's radar. However, Heat coach Erik Spoelstra acknowledged the loss. We want to develop players, but sometimes that happens elsewhere. Even if it's in Boston, anywhere else, it would have been more pleasant for us. From G-League player to last-minute protagonist, Peterson didn't expect to step on the court in the game against the Cavaliers. After flying in from Toronto, where the main Celtics were playing, he was preparing to be just another player on the bench. However, with Derek White injured and Jaylen Brown sidelined due to illness, Mazzulla decided to give him the responsibility. Initially, Peterson thought Jrue Holiday had been called, but the choice fell on him, and the impact was immediate. He not only contributed with 2 successful three-point attempts out of 5, but also stood out defensively, playing aggressively and forcing the Cavaliers to guard him closely. 2 days later, he repeated the performance against the Heat, again making 2 out of 5 three-pointers and grabbing 7 rebounds. In a symbolic moment, Peterson made a three-pointer in the face of his former Heat teammates and stared them down with confidence. Why Mazzulla doesn't give warnings? Mazzulla believes that informing players whether they will play or not can negatively affect their preparation. If you tell someone whether or not they're going to play, it changes how they prepare every day. I want my players to treat each day as the most important, whether they're in the rotation or not, explained the coach. This philosophy demands an extreme level of commitment from the athletes, but also brings results. Peterson, like others before him, made an immediate impact when called upon, even coming from the G-League system. Mazzulla's approach has proven effective not only for Peterson but for the entire roster. The coach emphasized that Peterson's impact goes beyond the points. Everyone will look at the 2 out of 5 threes, but he grabbed 7 rebounds and impacted the game in other ways, he stated. This mindset has helped the Celtics overcome adversity, deal with injuries, and maintain consistency, even when experimenting with different lineups. Even more experienced players, like Jordan Walsh, have commented on how Mazzulla's unpredictability keeps everyone always at the edge of their performance. Hey Celtics fanatics! What do you think of this news? Leave your opinion in the comments, as it's highly valued.